Let's cover just our last camera category. Then I'll just rocket through who won the other categories without too much discussion, and people can go and read them online. Last camera category, best specialty camera. This is the first time we've ever given an award to this type of camera, I think. Usually goes to like a GoPro or a drone or something.
Yeah.
In this case, it's the DJI Osmo Pocket.
Yeah, and so the thing about this camera, it's like all the things it is together makes it a really strong thing. Is it a great video camera? Meh, it's okay. It's a small sensor, fixed lens camera, but it's got a gimbal. It's got a little screen on it. It's really small. I mean, I remember how silly I thought it was when I started seeing these. I think it was, man, it must have been CES, I think, when they first started shipping them last year. But it was like, what are they shooting with there? Yeah. It looks like they're just holding a small like stick, and then we had one, and it's just so convenient. Like, I can get really steady shots. It's really easy to use. It's, tiny and small and cheap, and it's just no one else is doing that. Even GoPro with its crazy fancy what's it called, stabilization and whatnot is good, but it's not a gimbal. I mean, you could say gimbal-like and all that kind of thing, but it's still fighting to be a gimbal and doing it digitally, not through mechanics, which I think is almost always better.
You know what I love about this camera is, like, it kind of appeals to the same need that the Osmo Mobile has, right? So, like, the Osmo Mobile is basically the same thing, only you put your phone in it.
Yeah, it's just a gimbal, but meant for your phone.
But the beauty about this is, like, you put this in your pocket or in your backpack or whatever, and when you're ready to shoot video, take it out, you turn it on, you're going. There's not any of that, like, clamp it together, pair the two things together, make sure that that's working, and that's a test run. They're usually out of, it's like,
and the moment's away or whatever. And the other thing is what always happens when I'm using a phone for capturing something that I actually want to capture is all of my other habitual use of my phone makes it so my battery's not always there, or I might not have all the storage there, or it's a lot more expensive to get to that level of storage, and I don't know, just going onto an SD card. Now, I'm an iPhone shooter or an iPhone user, so I don't get to use SD cards with my phone. But even when I've tested cameras that do, or phones that do, it's still not quite the same experience as just having a dedicated camera. Yep. And so that's really nice. I mean, is the little tiny, like, 1-inch screen on there really all that useful? It is for composition.
Well, when you don't really have to worry about setting focus or anything, you're just really figuring out the composition. It's like pretty much an auto exposure thing anyways.
I mean, I think you're going to have a hard time, like, vlogging to this thing because it's no dedicated microphone on it and that kind of thing. And you would start to make it bigger if you did. But for most everything else, man, if you just need to get coverage, this is probably a really great choice for you to go, hey, I could cover an event and I could just walk around and not have to really set up a shot or, have to walk a certain way. Like, I can literally just kind of flow around places and get some shots that would have been really difficult to do with even a lot of equipment before. That's now this little tiny thing that's just super easy to take on the go. I end up being a little bored with it because I do like playing with settings and changing that and be like, oh, how could I do this? And thinking about it a lot. Like, I enjoy that challenge. But if you're just trying to cover, and that's what you're trying to do. Like, we brought it to our IRL events, and it's been great for that. Didn't have to bring this big thing. Yep. Easy to tell a story with because you're able to just continue to capture on it, and then it's just, I feel like you're going to get way more as far as amount of time recorded on a card with something like this because it just doesn't take any time to get rolling. You also can just be there.
There's, I feel like this is a great camera for just, like, shooting family videos or vacation videos, because I don't know about you, I go on vacation, I want to shoot a quick video and I don't have, like, a dedicated camera. I pull out my phone, and every time I'm holding it and I'm hitting the button, I'm thinking to myself, I'm gonna drop this.
Yeah, totally. Although now my phone's splash-proof, waterproof. I'm not as worried.
Shatterproof?
Yeah, no, I don't think so. Not shatterproof. At least not mine.
Yeah. But this thing is easy to use. It's fun. It's cheap.
It's cheap. I mean, that's it's pretty much the same camera and gimbal that you're finding on the low-end DJI drones, and just like those. In those situations you're using it, you might not need all that dynamic range. You might not need. It's just about capturing stuff, and totally good vacation, great event camera for covering a birthday or somebody's wedding and being there telling the story, not necessarily filming a wedding, but maybe if you need some of those, if you just need a couple like gimbal shots, how rad is it that you don't have to go take your camera off, put it on a gimbal to get those 2 or 3 shots you might need for whatever you're doing? Just get those, and if it mixes in well enough, that's fantastic.
Did you ever see that video? The guy who turned the Osmo Pocket into like a jib by just putting it on the end of a long pole.
I'll tell you, it makes good sense.
Yeah, it's incredible.
It's like you could get drone shots, drone looking shots by just bringing a pole with you. Yeah. I mean, a broom pole with an extension, like. Cool. If you get 15 feet off the sky, it's probably where you wanted the drone to be anyway, but you felt uncomfortable getting it so that close to people. It's like, oh, in fact, that was one of a guy, Drew Gracie, who's a time-lapse photographer. He goes, when people can't afford bringing out the Inspire and that kind of stuff, he's like, I just have a really long tripod that extends up to 40 feet. That collapses.
40-foot tripod.
Well, it's one of those winding tripods, but like it's extensions and just keeps on going up. Pretty neat type specialty thing. And he's like, I just put my camera on that, and I get the 1 or 2 shots that they wanted, and now I don't have to charge them for drone. And it was, I could just bring it along. And it's like sometimes you don't need that really specialty. I mean, like I can only imagine. I want that jib shot. Bring that jib to a wedding, like holy crap! Like, it takes a good hour to get set half the time with that kind of stuff, and it's like, unless you have the crew for it and you're getting paid the money, it just wouldn't make any sense.
Okay, let's just.